Welcome, physics students. I came outside today to enjoy a little tea, enjoy the sun, which we haven't seen much of this month, enjoy the nice spring weather, the new greenery, the birds chirping, but also to talk to you in this nice outdoor setting. First thing I want to say is that I miss you all. I wish we were back in school, that I was teaching, you were learning, we were enjoying each other's company. But as you've probably heard, school will not meet for the rest of the year. So I'm disappointed, and I'm sure you're disappointed too. But these are the circumstances of these unusual times that we're in. That being said, I just want to talk also about the end of the year in terms of the academics, and to tell you about how your grade will be determined at the end of the year. Very important. You may have missed these important details because I don't know about you, but I feel like sometimes I'm buried with information in my email about all these things that we have to keep track of now. So I just want to make sure that you all understand these things so that you can make sure you can get a good grade for the end of the year. You know, I want you to do well, of course, and you want to do well, your parents want you to do well, so let's just make sure that we know how to do that. So the first thing I want to call your attention to are a few percentages. Hopefully you could see this. All right, 35%, 35%, and 30%. Okay, so this is how your final grade will be determined in all courses at Clarkstown. 35% of your final grade will be quarter one, 35% quarter two, and then since the closures, quarter 3 and 4 will be combined into one category of 30%. These add up to 100%. There will obviously be no finals because we won't be in school for finals. So now, regarding this last term, the 30%, that's split into two parts, 50% and 50%. So half of this 30% will be merely how much of the work you actually do. It's basically an effort grade. So if you do 20 out of the 20 assignments since the closure that count toward your grade, then that means that you get a perfect score. Even if you got all the questions wrong on all the assignments, you still get 50 out of 50 for that part. The remainder of the 50% is performance, and so let me just give you a simple example. Let's suppose you do all the graded assignments or all the assignments, and then on a particular graded assignment you do very poorly, you get only 40% correct on that assignment. So in regular school that's obviously an F, but in our grading system you get a full 50% for just doing the assignment, and then you get 40% of 50%, which is 20%. And so combined with the 50 for doing the assignment, you get a 70 on that assignment. So that's basically how the grades are determined going forward in this last term. The other thing I want to point out is something that may have escaped you, but it's very important. So we've been doing work for quite a while now, for over a month. Lots of assignments, dozens of assignments. Every day we've had assignments. Unfortunately, almost none of them count toward your grade. Not even count in any manner, not even in the 50% effort part. This is adopted by the board, so it's not my decision, and you may be unhappy with it, but again, I don't have any control over this. So here we are with a March calendar, and you can see that school, the last day we were together was March 13th. And then from here, all these days after the 13th, the 16th through the 31st of March, and then in April, almost the whole month of April, all the way to the 24th of April, none of those assignments count. Again, the board decided this. All that counts in this final term are assignments before the closure that we completed. Okay, so any of these assignments. And by the way, if you were missing any lab, or anything like that. Don't stress about it. I'm just not going to count that. So this is just going to be, the grades that you actually completed. So don't worry about, again, missing assignments. So these assignments before, none of the assignments during the closure up until last Monday, which is April 27th, that's when the graded assignments begin. So the reason why I'm telling you that is because you have to realize that you may be thinking, well, I worked really hard in physics and I got a lot of good grades, so I'm kind of in good shape. And so maybe now you don't concentrate so hard going forward. That would be a terrible mistake because, again, none of that stuff counts, and if you start slipping up now, this is what's actually going to determine your grade. The converse is also true. Some people have fallen behind on their work during that month since the closure. If that is you, then don't go back and do those assignments. Make sure you do the assignments it's like a clean slate going forward from the 27th, which is 1 week ago, and from here on out, make sure you do all your assignments. And if you have time to go back to do some of those ones that you missed, you can go back and do them if you feel like you would like to do them. But again, it's from here forward. Don't do your assignments linearly. Let's suppose you fell behind somewhere around here. Don't skip today's assignments until you catch up with all these. Okay? That would be a bad mistake. Do these first. Okay? So hopefully you understand that. Now, also, I want to talk about, well, what is the grade going to be going forward? Well, you have, of course, your daily assignments, so that counts towards the 50%. Like when I post a homework assignment on Google Classroom, make sure you do that. Otherwise, you will suffer in that 50% participation category, which should be an easy way to get 100, right? Get 100 on this part. Just do the assignments, okay? Doesn't have to be, you don't have to understand them. You have to just put a reasonable effort. So that's part of the grade. The other part is, well, for AP students, you're well aware of Quest, right? So I'll be looking at your Quest, only the last one though, right? Because the ones we did, the 4 or 5 that you did during that block where the board decided it doesn't count, those I can't count. So it's only the last one, and I'll try and make a couple more. So the last 2 or 3 quests, make sure you're doing them well so you can get a good grade on your final marking period. So, and then the Regents, as you know, I asked you to make a Quest account. So then you'll have homework there. Now, a word about Quest, the AP students know this. The way it works is it's like problems that you have to calculate answers for, like we've been doing all year. However, every student gets different numbers. So don't ask someone that you work a lot with homework, hey, what did you get for number 2? And they say 2.75 is the acceleration. And they enter that and they get their question correct. You enter the same answer, yours is wrong because you have different masses and different forces. So everyone has to calculate. So heads up, a bit of warning there. So that's basically, I'll be using Quest a lot for both AP and Regents to determine the final grade. That performance part. I may also do a little bit with Castle Learning, but I'm looking around. I'm not totally happy with that. So Quest assignments and also Regents, I will make some tests, and we shouldn't even call them tests, right? Because you could use your notebook, you could Google stuff while you're working on them, but there'll be Quest assignments on the topics of optics, waves, and modern physics. Okay, so there will be some that we quote count as tests, but they'll really just be the assignment, that 50% performance part. So that's it, what we have here. Here we are on the 4th. We have a week left. AP students, you're preparing for the AP, their homeworks that you're working on. And then here for 2 weeks, the AP students are taking AP exams, but Regents, you'll be doing, as I mentioned, the Quest. And then we have here June. I checked off the days we're scheduled to meet in a normal school year. Maybe you can't see by the sun. So, we got most of the month of June, but here's the other thing. that is kind of a wild card. We may end early because of we lost our vacation, so they might subtract those days. I'm not promising anything, right? So don't say, well, Tupaj said that, you know, we don't have to go to school for that last week or whatever. That's pending, but I'm just warning you that, you know, things may end a little bit sooner to be prepared for that in terms of your grade. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Just again, remember, from 1 week ago, last Monday, from here forward is the part that's going to count. Make sure you're doing those assignments and don't worry so much about all those other ones you're missing. 35% quarter one, 35% quarter two, and 30 for the rest of the year before the closure, after the 27th. That's the final portion of your grade and no final exam. Okay, so hopefully I make another video to say hi again. It's not the same as saying hi in person, so, but best we could do. And I'm going to enjoy a little bit more of the sun and my tea. I hope you're doing the same. I hope you're getting outside a little bit and not just staring at your screen all day. And I hope that you're staying healthy and physically and mentally, right? And making sure you take the breaks from the screen time and getting outside and